Yay!
Namaste, Saraswati Devi, Gaurangi, Vashadini, Nirvishesha, Srimati, Puchati, Jai Prabhupada, Lilamrita. So we're going to do in two parts, you know. We're going to do the one of Satsarup Goswami, and then I'm going to read from memories. You know these books? They're wonderful. It's short. Okay. And I'll do in English because I will translate it. Takes a lot of time. Okay. So I'm going to go with
yeah. Yes, our
the mark page fell, huh?
Yes, what I was going to mention.
What?
Yes, what I was going to mention is that the Lilamrita that we are reading on is the other one. The
Is
one
what?
that talks about John. Okay.
I don't understand.
The part one, not the part two.
Anyway, I know.
Don't worry.
Anyways.
Don't worry.
Anyway, it's good to. Okay, it was in America. America, and they arrived. I marked the page, but it was after. Maybe I stop with memories. Make it easier. Anyway, you know, there's so much nectar, and we're going to have more on Friday. So these are easier to follow. Anyway, okay, Mahatma Prabhu. Who knows Mahatma Prabhu? Mahatma. I used to live in San Diego. I was a great devotee. So Mahatma Prabhu, on a morning walk on Venice Beach, near the area where we have Ratha Yatra, Bahula Swami was presenting Christian arguments to Srila Prabhupada. Bahula Swami said, Srila Prabhupada, one of the arguments is that no one has seen God. Prabhupada stopped and said, no fool has seen God. I'm not a fool like you, I have seen God. So many times, not many times, but sometime when he was challenged, Prabhupada, he said, not only have seen God, but God was standing next to him, dictating the books. You write my books, you know. And so, if we follow Prabhupada, we'll see God. How many people can say they've seen God, you know? We go in Christians. What God looks like? Oh, what does he do? Oh, no idea. So it's frustrating. We have something wonderful to offer. To be convinced Krishna is God.
He said also, you have also seen God.
Huh?
He said, you have also seen God. Have you seen the moon? Have you seen the sun? Have you seen God?
Okay, now this is from Trivikram Swami. I'm going to read half of it. Once in Tokyo, Shama Sundar was traveling with Prabhupada. When Shama Sundar got sick for some time, when Shama Sundar was better, he complained to Prabhupada that the devotees had not taken care of him properly. Prabhupada called on his Tagosti and asked everybody, why did not you take care of him? We've been giving up everything to come to spiritual life. How can we neglect the devotee? Then Prabhupada feelingly turned to Shama Sundar and said with intensity and emotion, why did not you ask me? I would have come and nursed you. That was Prabhupada's mood. He was compassionate and at the same time bold or strong if necessary. We always got the feeling that he loved us and that he was not exploiting us in any way. Yeah, that's all devotees who testified, you know. You know, many of them got attracted to Krishna consciousness because of, you know, this compassionate, this loving nature of Prabhupada. And let's hope we can do the same to attract people, you know, because anyway, sometimes we're not the most loving, compassionate, I'm talking for myself. And people, visitors come and they hear arguments and or fighting, it's not so good. You think, what is that? What is Krishna? What is Krishna consciousness if they behave like that? So we have the responsibility to behave like a loving way, you know, with everybody. What to speak of the devotees? What to speak? Who have dedicated their lives, given decades, and then you cannot treat them like a piece of nothing. Anyway, that's why we need loving examples. Anyway, the ego century comes from you. Look, when this person, you know, he had a toothache, and Prabhupada was concerned. How's your tooth? You know, he was seeing him again. How's your tooth? No, just, oh, we're not this body, we don't care, you know. Okay, let's see, other memories. This one is, okay, from Mahatma Prabhu. I was always interested in seeing how Prabhupada managed, because there are different management styles. He was a manager too. I wondered how Prabhupada managed the movement. Because generally managers of an international society have many secretaries, telephones, desks, offices, and so on. But every time I was with Prabhupada, no management went on. He preached. There was never a time I was with him that he was rushing, as we do with this emergency, that emergency. He had a totally different way of dealing with things. He did not use the phone, but he wrote letters by hand, you know, not just by computer at the time. It was not. Every time I was with Prabhupada, he was either hearing about Krishna or preaching to devotees. When I sat with him, I thought, how is Prabhupada managing this international society? Every time I'm with him, he's always preaching. He's not talking about any of the problems, and he's not talking about management. I was awestruck by Prabhupada's potency. Prabhupada's potency. And then I was listening recently when an elderly gentleman who knew Prabhupada, who appreciated Prabhupada, he was around 70, you know, the age Prabhupada had when he came to America. He said, he was glorifying Prabhupada, and he said, you don't know which sacrifice he undergone, you know. You have no idea, because you're still young and enthusiastic and energetic. When you're 70, I know. I appreciate better, you know. Oh, he had to deal with so many headaches, you know. I'm reading a lot about Prabhupada. He said, so many Lilamritas, anyway, there's a whole library of books about Prabhupada. I think, what's his name? Satyaraji was saying, I heard with someone saying, Prabhupada is the person, there's so many, the most biographies written about one person. There's so many, and they keep coming. They keep coming, you know. If you want to borrow some, I got some. Maybe you don't have them in the library. And it's, possibly it's my source of inspiration, Prabhupada. He's also, we're going to celebrate Friday, you know. All his wonderful qualities. When you look at the list, you know, he has all of them. And when I look for myself, oh God, I got 0 or 10% this one. So it's a good checklist to examine, you know. What are our transcendental qualities? What to speak of ordinary, mundane qualities? Yeah.
Regarding management, Prabhupada said something like reunion, resolution, revolution, no solution. Something like this.
To work
Dissolution and no solution. But at the same time, he was managing, actually, no? He was managing, he created a GBC temple, a system. So he was delegating, no? He was empowering people.
Yeah, he was empowering people, definitely. And happily, I mean, he couldn't have done it himself, but still, and he had to deal with opposition from the outside, we have many cases, Robin George case, America being caught, they were kidnapping the bodies and so they were brainwashed, and then we had, even in India there was a lot of opposition, even in India, from, in Vrindavan, the Vrindavan, how you call them, smart people. Yeah, what is he doing? Giving initiation, Brahman initiation to these Malaysia, these Westerners, and including women in the movement, and the right of the opposition. And then individual disciples creating havoc, like Nita, you took off. I was just reading recently, he took off with some money from Vrindavan. From one day to the next, he stopped his service. And then he had those who started their own movement, like in Hawaii, competing with Prabhupada, That's heavy, competing with Prabhupada, as if anybody could compete with Prabhupada. You can make the list of headaches, And one time he was like that. His head in his hand, sitting down in the corner of his apartment, and his servant came and said, "What's going on, Prabhupada? Are you okay?" I said, "Yeah, I got a headache. Too many problems in our society. But these headaches are for Krishna, so I'm tolerating. Headaches for Krishna, How many headaches are we willing to take for Krishna? Because any situation, sometimes in ISKCON is not loving, doing everything smooth. There's some challenges also inside. So, and those who were managing anything, it's not easy. It's not easy. Gets a headache, can sleep. What to speak when you're attacked from the inside of the movement by your god brothers or your god sisters? So we are representing ISKCON, wonderful, but at the same time, some things are not so wonderful all the time. So we have to appreciate Prabhupada. Always remember Prabhupada. That's what helps me sometimes. I go, oh my God, another problem. And I think Prabhupada, one thing after another, inside, outside, and his health deteriorating, is becoming old. So it's hard to imagine or appreciate even what he did, So that's why we get to hear more. He'll keep hearing about Prabhupada and talking about Prabhupada. Okay, let's see. This one is Yogeshwara in Paris. On a morning walk in Paris, I asked Srila Prabhupada, this Krishna consciousness movement seems so wonderful. Is it happening on other planets as well? He said, why not? Krishna is everywhere. Therefore, his movement is everywhere. Another time, Srila Prabhupada, sometimes the devotees express some discomfort because they don't get to see you much. You're always traveling. They don't know what their personal relationship is with you. He said, what do you answer them? I said, well, I tell them that they shouldn't feel that way. You've invested yourself personally in all your books. And if they read the books, they can experience your association. Prabhupada said, you should first ask them if they're chanting their 16 rounds. Unless someone follows the basic principles, where is there any question of entering into a deeper relationship? And he made this kind of comment several times. Are they chanting their rounds? Are they following the instructions? So there was a disciple in Paris who had a French accent and a strange, quanch-up kind of voice. He said, Prabhupada, it says in the Shiva Purana that Prabhupada looked at him and said, don't agitate your mind, and kept walking. Other people took the morning walk as an opportunity for engaging in polemics and debate. That was one of the favorite things we used to do on morning walks with Srila Prabhupada. Debate and controversy. French people like that too. Of course, sometimes, Prabhupada asked the devotees to take the role of the Mayavadi or the role of the atheist, to train them how to preach to these different kind of people. So that was another thing. Sorry, my voice is deteriorating. So that was one of the favorite things we used to do on morning walks. He would throw out a challenge to us, or we would throw a challenge out to him, and a discussion would ensue. He was a master of parry. What does that mean, parry? P-R-P-A or what? I don't know that one. You know? Parry. A master of the quick response. Well, I think sex is spiritual. What do you have to say to that? Somebody else. Oh, that's dog's philosophy. Are you a dog? I understand you are Allen gurus, Allen Ginsberg gurus. I am nobody guru. I am everyone's servant. So he was able to come back quickly and that way. Sometimes when there was a particularly important point, he would stop walking. I remember one famous reporter, one reporter asked Prabhupada why. It was winter, it was cold, and she had kind of a short dress. So she asked Prabhupada, why do you have bald head? He said, why do you have bald legs? No, why you shave your head? He said, why do you shave your legs? She was done, everybody like. But then he made a humorous. For spiritual life, better have warm legs and a cool head, and everybody laughed, So that's how he diffused sometimes his remarks were really like cutting, But then he made everybody laugh and relax, and they could accept the point. She Mataji, the Indian devotee, it's a little longer, it's interesting. Dealing with the rascal. So many in India, So we Prabhupada talk about it. The so-called avatar, the so-called incarnation, but to speak of the Mayavadi, we all got. Let's see what he said. Before the Jew temple was even conceived, so he was from Bombay, Prabhupada lived at Seaface Park in Bombay. And every day my wife and I used to meet him there. Out of respect, I would offer my obeisances and listen to Prabhupada. But I was a Mayavadi, and I would also argue with him. I said, Prabhupada, Brahman is supreme, not Krishna. Brahman takes the form of Krishna, Rama, Nishinga, etc. That's the classical argument, Prabhupada tolerated my nonsense. He would give us prasadam, he would give us his association, and he would say, who has told you all these nonsense things? This is all rascaldom. I would say, my spiritual master is Chinmayananda Swami. Prabhupada said, oh, that rascal is the biggest Mayavadi in the world today. Ask him, if you're Narayan, why are you getting old? Why are your teeth falling out? And why is your hair getting grey? Why are you not looking young, like Narayan? He's calling himself Narayan, and he called other Mayavadi Narayan. Other Mayavadi call him Narayan. This is all nonsense. God is always God. It does not become God. We are always Jivatma, and we always be Jivatma. We are parts and parcels of God, and the part and parcel can never be the same as a complete whole. Yes, really all this nonsense going on, you know. I was confused because although Prabhupada's logic seemed quite clear, I still thought that he might be conning me, you know, when I tried to, I was like, conning me, on traduit ça en français. Qui c'est, je veux un tour, me tromper. When you come from a city like Bombay or New York, you meet many con artists. You know what I mean, con artists? Somebody is trying to teach you, that's it. In India, lots of so-called spiritual teachers collect money and sell mantras and do all sorts of other nonsense. Oh yeah, there's another anecdote that comes to mind related to cheating. One time, Prabhupada asked one disciple to go to India to preach. Prabhupada said, no, I don't want to go. You know, all Indians are cheaters. They were cheating all the time, you know. And Prabhupada said, I'm Indian. And I cheated you. I cheated you to take Krishna consciousness, you know. No, it's nothing, just, you know, Chaitanya Krishna, take little prasad. Because being cheated into Krishna consciousness is the greatest benediction. Yeah, it was not always easy for Prabhupada. So going back to Mataji. So I go back to Chinmaya Nanda, Swami, his guru, and ask him, Swamiji, when do you get old? If you control Mother Nature, why are you getting old? Can you not control that? And he would say, I have to look old so that people respect me more. I'd go back and tell Prabhupada, he has to look old because people will respect him more. Prabhupada would say, this is rascaldom. Mother Nature is under Krishna's control and not under his control. Sorry. It will always be controlled by nature. You go and tell him that. And Prabhupada would usually quote some verse from Bhagavad Gita, like the verse where Lord Krishna says, I am the seed-giving father. How could Swami Chinmayananda be the seed-giving father of everybody? Again, I'll go back and tell Swami Chinmayananda that slowly, over a period of 7 years, I tried to find fault or inconsistency in Prabhupada's books, teachings, tape recordings, and letters. I could not find a single inconsistency or untruthfulness. There was no duplicity. Duplicity is very common in those who are doing some sort of variation or concoction of religion. But Prabhupada was sticking to the original teachings of Lord Chaitanya, the original teachings of Lord Krishna. It was unique. I think there's about, talking about Bhagavad Gita, you know, there's about literally thousands of commentaries, interpretation, and most of them are bogus, you know. And that's what Prabhupada wrote Bhagavad Gita as it is. Most of the others are, it is not, you know. So we are fortunate to have as it is. And you see the results, you know, it's making hundreds and hundreds of devotees all over the world. There's a famous, at the beginning of the movement in New York, of course there was no Bhagavad Gita as it is. So Prabhupada used Dr. Ramakrishna. He was president of India at some time, and he commented his own commentary on the Bhagavad Gita. And he was saying, Prabhupada used it just, you know, for the text, for the Sanskrit, to follow the Sanskrit, you know. He didn't, he said, don't read the commentaries, you know. It was all pure Mayavadi. It is not Krishna speaking, it is the impersonal, through Krishna, you know, pure Mayavadi. Huh?
When later on in India, the Prabhupada with some disciples, they visited Dr. Ramakrishna when he was old. And at home, he was very old and he couldn't speak anymore.
He couldn't speak anymore.
Prabhupada said, he looked very miserable, and Prabhupada said Krishna took from him this capacity to speak because he said too many offenses.
Too much nonsense. See?
But he managed to say something to Prabhupada. He said, please pray for me, Swami.
Yeah, maybe
Please
just...
pray to God for me. He said something.
Krishna. Yeah, there were so many Mayavadis, That's why, when Prabhupada tried to preach in India first, we had many difficulties. And, many Mayavadis, Pranamanta, Prabhupada. Nirvishesha, Shunyavadi, Paschata Dishata, Nirvishesha. In Voidism, yes, Shunyavadi, Nirvishesha, Shunyavadi. Impersonalism and Voidism. Paschata Dishata, donc he came to deliver the Western countries and the other countries also, from impersonalism and Voidism. And one time he wrote a poem, for the Vyasa Puja with Guru Maharaj. And one part of his poem said, impersonal calamity thou hast removed. Wow, and Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati was very appreciative of this poem, especially this verse. It's a calamity, calamity, because people are like, God is the void, you're God, okay, There's no hope, to have a loving relationship with somebody. With God, what to speak, that's the highest. Personal God, now we sing is a wonderful pastime every day, And otherwise, what do you have? The emptiness, the void. So people return to sense gratification because there's nothing else, right? Oh, I am God, you are God. Why do you go to the dentist if you're God? It doesn't make sense, It doesn't make sense. So this book distribution, we're the one who distributed the most spiritual books. Besides the Christian with their Bible, It's not million, it's billion. Billions of books. It has some effect, It has some effect. And yesterday I was reading one message Nita Gorasundar sent me from a Christian lady. She wrote that she had a dream of Jesus Christ. And Jesus Christ told her to, pretty soon she will meet somebody who will present her some wonderful books, buy them. So, a few days later, a devotee knocked on the door, and she was a sincere Christian. She bought all the books of Srila Prabhupada about God. Prabhupada would be very strong sometimes with the Christians. Especially if we preach a lot about, see, this body is a problem. Machine, in the machine, you have to put your ear, you have to put your glasses, you have to put your pacemaker. It's like, machine in machines. Anyway, we're stuck in the machine. That's made the best use of it. So I was talking about Prabhupada preaching to the Christians. A lot of time, it depends on the attitude of the Christian. If they came also like a little challenging, he would challenge them right away. Why don't you follow the teaching of Jesus Christ? Thou shalt not kill, Why are you maintaining slaughterhouses? But if somebody was really devotional and humble, have a humble attitude, he would compare, One time he met a nun like that. No, devotees, I think it's in Paris. In the street they met a nun. She said, come and meet our spiritual master, So she came, and of course she was dressed as a nun. And right away with Prabhupada, he glorified Krishna, she glorified, she said, oh yeah, in our Bible, and Krishna said that, they compared things, it was very friendly exchange. And then after a while she left, and the devotees were impressed. See the friendly exchange between them. There was no challenge. Okay, so we can, so many things about Prabhupada, that's the thing. Prabhupada Katha, we're lucky, we have the books, we have Siddhartha's series, all the interviews. Do you watch them sometime? Imagine the Christians, if they had so much knowledge about Jesus Christ. He did that, he was that. Come on, they don't know hardly anything. There's so many years of his life. What did he do? Well, some people say he went to India. I read a book about it. He went to India. And his tomb is there, his tomb. Well, that's another topic. But, I never met Prabhupada, but in person, but by reading this book, watching the videos, we are meeting Prabhupada. That's what we should. It's like Krishna, I don't see Krishna now, but just have to read and hear. And Prabhupada said, yeah, I've seen God. You're nonsense, you cannot see God. Okay, so finished Mataji. He was trying to find fault in Prabhupada. For 7 years, I got to find a fault. Couldn't even find one. Eventually, Prabhupada asked me to invite Chinmayananda Swami to come and have a debate. I asked Prabhupada, what point shall we debate? Prabhupada said, we shall debate whether Chinmayananda Swami will lift Govardhan Hill or not. If he is God, he should be able to do that. God did it. If he knows what's in my mind and everybody's mind, then he's God. He's Paramatma. But if he only knows about his own body and then not fully, he's just another human being who's trying to cheat God and trying to cheat everyone else. I told Chinmayananda Swami, are you prepared to have this debate? It will resolve this awful doubt I have now as to which of you two are the real spiritual master. But guess what he did, Chinmayananda? Did he accept the challenge? Well, I did not accept, I lived Govardhan Hill. Even any little big rock. But Chinmayananda Swami refused. I asked Chinmayananda Swami, can you please tell me whether you can know what's in the minds of everyone? God knows what's going on in everyone's mind. Can you do that? For instance, if I sat down now and thought about something, would you be able to write down what I was thinking about? He said, no, I'm not a mind reader. I said, no, I'm not talking about reading minds. If you really are at an elevated level, then you are one with God. Then it's like you plugged yourself into a computer that has so many facts. You should be able to retrieve information. He couldn't do it. Then I surrendered to Prabhupada. I became his driver. It took him a long time to surrender. So we shouldn't be discouraged with the personality sometimes, like, come on, and we should challenge them like that. We go, let this big tree, If you God, you can do it. Bring it back to life. Krishna can do it. Yeah, a lot of nonsense going on. Okay, we're going to read a Vishakadasi. No, Vishakadasi. She's not the temple president in Bhaktivedanta Mara. Very intelligent, wise, intelligent woman, Prabhupada said. Sometimes we read a less intelligent woman. But very intelligent. It told that to Jyotirma, you see. Very intelligent. So, sometimes in the old days, some men give a hard time to women. was really she even got so disgusted she stopped giving classes, you know. So, less intelligent, it depends. Okay, Vishaka. In our young and idealistic mind, John, a future husband, and I had a brilliant idea of doing a photo essay about a quaint Indian village. We wanted to make a wonderful cultural presentation to help people appreciate traditional life. The problem was that there are thousands upon thousands of villages in India, and we had no idea which one would be suitable for our project. John said, Srila Prabhupada has traveled extensively in India, and so we should ask him where to go. We presented our idea to Prabhupada when I was in his room in the Akash Ganga building. Prabhupada saw us, flushed with a fervor of youthful enthusiasm, and said, "You do not speak the language. Wherever you go, they will seem to cheat you and steal your camera." We were silent and crestfallen. There was a pregnant pause as Prabhupada observed our reactions to his word. And he said, "Where did you go to? Vrindavan. And do your photo essay there." So some 4 or 5 months later we did that. When Srila Prabhupada told us to go to Vrindavan, it was only the 2nd time he had seen me. And he knew nothing about me. My background was completely atheistic. My parents were atheists, and until I went to ISKCON temple in New York, about a year or so before I met Srila Prabhupada. I had never been inside any church, synagogue, or temple of any sort, not even to see the stained glass. It was by Srila Prabhupada's instruction that John and I went to Vrindavan. And now looking back on it 3 decades later, Srila Prabhupada could not have given me a more appropriate guidance. The month that we spent in Vrindavan transformed me. For weeks I wandered the Vrindavan streets and gradually became moved by the devotion of the Vaishnavas there, who were ever ready with a friendly greeting, Jai Radhe. Foremost in their simple lives was faith in and service to Radha Krishna. Prabhupada's instruction to live in that divine environment was perfect for me. See, Prabhupada was expert, you know. And the importance of spending time in holy dham, you know. Because wherever, it's a holy dham here. Radha Krishna, Krishna Balarama are here, you know. So, the example of Bhakti Karta Swami, you know, he had cancer, terminal cancer. And he didn't go to Vrindavan to quit his body, he stayed in Gitanagara, you know, and surrounded by loving devotees. That's the other thing. So who's going to be around you? Yesterday I was reading a post on Nita Gaurasundar, you know, it's some interesting post. There's one devotee in Mayapur, India. His father just left his body in Mayapur, in the town. And his mother, a few days before, she had a dream, a special dream. I should send you the post. She dreamed of the Vishnu Dutta. She saw the Vishnu Dutta. You know the Vishnu Dutta, they're sent by Vishnu, and they messenger, they have a spiritual body, not a material body. So she saw this. They were young, they were beautiful, effulgent. And they give tulsi leaves, and then eventually they departed. So she was wondering, does it mean I'm going to quit my body soon? Or, in fact, her husband, he quit his body a few days later, you know. So Vishnu Dutta, Prabhupada said they can take you back to the spiritual world. I swear, you know, I never heard anybody has seen the Vishnu Dutta. So it's a good sign. Maybe we can see the Vishnu Dutta. We just pray that be surrounded with devotees who can chant the holy name. There's also an interesting departure. I read in the Back to Godhead, the departure of Indradyumna Swami. You know, have you read it? Maybe you remember, or Mataji. So he was, of course, he was a great exalted devotee. And each time he was visiting his mother, he would preach a little bit to her, talk about Karma and Krishna, but he gave her books. But the books ended in the garage, you know, a big pile of books. And then for some time he did not, he was always traveling, of course, preaching. So, and one day he called his brother, you know, or his brother called him. And our mother has quit her body. She just quit her body. So Indradyumna Swami asked her what happened, you know, which circumstances. So he said, yeah, a few months ago she started to go in the garage. She got all the books out. And then she ordered all your tapes from the tape ministry. Now, because the last word of her mother's was, I want to go to Vrindavan. So Indradyumna Swami was wondering, how does she know about Vrindavan? You know, she never read of this book. And so she had started to read the books, got all the tapes from the tape ministry. And then, and the mama quitting her body, she was thinking about going to Vrindavan, thinking about Krishna, you know. So we can minimize, you know, the fact that we devotees, our parents benefit, you know. Sometimes we read it in 10 generations, you know, because it depends on how exalted, what our purity is, but still, you know, our parents benefit, definitely. And Prabhupada said, it's not, if they have devotees, children, you know, it's special, you know, it's not like there's so many devotees children. I mean, parents who have devoted children, so at least we can keep being devotees for the sake of our family, even if they're not interested. I can always give them prasadam, everybody appreciates. And one time he asked Brahmananda Prabhu in New York to bow down before his mother. At the time of his initiation, you know, respect our parents, have to show them. Okay, let's see. So to choose, let's see. Vishaka. Since the conditions in the Calcutta temple were poor at the beginning, John and I were not comfortable living in the temple. So once, when we were in Prabhupada's room, John said to Prabhupada, perhaps we should live outside and just come to the temple for the programs. In that way, we could avoid the problems in the temple. Prabhupada said, yes, you can do that. That is all right. But even though there are so many problems in the temple, still it is better living in the temple than outside. That may have been especially true in Calcutta. But for us, that can be said of any temple in any city, including New Mayapur. Not easy to live in temple. I mean, there's always advantage and disadvantage. Of course, here, the devotees, they need a place to live, they need a house, so very practical. It might not problem. Yeah, the other day I was talking with the volunteers, you know, and when somebody commented, yeah, if you're devotees, why is so many ways? There's problems. Why it's not more loving all the time? See, because we're humans also, you know. We're not perfect. We're not pure devotees. If we're all pure devotees, God, why it's not like paradise, you know? Yeah, we're here for purification, you know, also. And elevation and purification. Okay, Dhanavya Goswami. Two ladies in their 50s asked if they could see Srila Prabhupada. I was the temple president, so I brought them to see him. They were very respectful, but did not know what to say. There was silence. Finally, one of them said, Swamiji, we have been meditating for the last 12 years, 20 years. They thought that Prabhupada would be impressed, but he said, what have you achieved by your meditation? The lady thought for a moment and said, we have learned to become silent. Prabhupada said, stones are silent for millions of years. To become silent is not a very great accomplishment. That's it, the mood of that discussion. I have nothing to say, nothing to talk about. See, that's all this impersonality, personalism, the void, nothing. See, the Vedic library talking about Krishna and Prabhupada, there's no end to it, That's our saving grace, that we can spend our time reading or hearing these things. No temptation to fill the void with other things, mundane things. Oh yeah, this one I can see. Okay, wait. What time is it? We can take it. So I take it random. Brahmatirtha, the other one, perfect question, perfect answer, Brahmatirtha. Just before Prabhupada left this world, I went to India to participate in a conference with Swarup Damodar Maharaj, Sadaputta and others. It was the first international conference and life comes from life. I was a geologist and I presented a paper on evolution. I arrived in Vrindavan with Atreya Rishi and immediately went to see Prabhupada. Both of us were shocked to see Prabhupada so thin, just all bones. It was before he quit his body. I've been preaching, and he said to Atreya, I've been preaching to you that I'm not this body. Now you can see that my body is gone, but I'm still here. Now do you understand that we're not the body? Prabhupada used Atreya's shock expression to emphasize the point that we're not the body. There was nothing much better with body. Ganesh, I'm just going to read this part about ghost. Let's see. Prabhupada described the different elements and explained how the mind, intelligence, and ego are subtle energy. Prabhupada was speaking to all of us, but he was looking at the man, specific man. Then Prabhupada began to speak about ghosts. I did not think anything of it at the time. By Shrutakirti, who was sitting on the floor, and Prabhupada left chuckled and said, Prabhupada, why are you talking about ghosts? I was taken aback when he asked that question. I thought he was being too familiar, but he had a familiar relationship with Prabhupada. Prabhupada ignored the question and continued looking at the man. Prabhupada described that ghosts are subtle, how they don't have gross bodies, and how it's a very sinful birth. A ghost has material desires, but cannot fulfill them through a gross body. At one point, Prabhupada said, because ghosts are powerful, sometimes they move things. And Prabhupada moved his hand through the air as though he was moving a glass. We began to realize that this man was ghostly haunted. He was studying the science of the mind, but somehow or other his mind was overtaken. I got enough courage and asked Prabhupada, if a ghost overtakes someone, does that mean there are two souls in the body? Does the soul enter the body? Prabhupada said, no, it does not go in the body, but it exerts its influence over the body. The ghost does not actually enter, so there are not two souls managing the body. That was an unusual experience. Do you remember when Prabhupada, there was a place, there was some ghost, and Prabhupada told him what to do? Remember? It was in London, and back to,
Tittenhurst.
Tittenhurst, it was John Lennon's house. And there was some ghosts, and I don't know if they were moving things around. I can't remember what the ghosts were doing. Prabhupada said, anyway, you chant Hare Krishna, you go all over the place. The ghosts will go away. And they did. Yeah. In fact, Prabhupada, I remember also, he said, when he was Grihastha, he rented a house very cheap in Calcutta because it was a ghostly haunted house. Nobody wanted to live there. So he just chanted and recited the Bhagavatam, and there was no ghost, and he got cheap rent.
The furniture were moving.
Hmm?
The furniture were moving.
The furniture were moving. So they were active ghosts.
I think Prabhupada said I'm ghost proof.
Had anybody seen ghosts or felt their presence?
Of course, everybody has seen ghosts.
In dreams.
Huh?
In dreams they come sometimes. In dreams.
In dreams?
They come, they usually come under a familiar, some friend or something that you know, and at the last minute, they just try to take over.
You may podcast, somebody felt the ghost here?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, of course, I don't know.
Nishingananda, he had some experience. In the back room, there was this mirror panel, wooden panel describing a hunting scene. And at one point they were so much in need of money in Mayapur, they took it out and they sold it. And actually it was quite valuable because it had belonged to a king or something. So they sold it for 100,000 francs, I think.
Mm-hmm.
And that was with Peter Prabhu. And then at that point, sometime he can tell you, but he was sleeping there, I think, actually in Nishingananda at one point. And in the night, the ghost will pull him by the legs, because he was very angry that he sold these things, because that was the guy from the previous owner, and he was very attached to it,
What? There's a Sankirtan story, I heard, I think it's in Gaurangi told me. Devotees who were at Shikha, I forgot somebody, and they were distributing books door to door. And then he went in the house, and people said, no, we don't want. And then after a few moments, they come back, come back, he wants the books. So because they were doing a kind of ceremony every week, and he got in touch with some disembodied body, even ghost. And when the ghost said he wanted the books, so the ghost, they sold the books for the ghost. Even ghost, someone wanted the books. Krishna. Okay, one more. Yogeshwar. And Bhaktivedanta Manna Prabhupada would sometimes sit with us in a circle on the lawn and chant japa. Sometimes we'd ask a question, and sometimes he'd ask us something. Once I said, Srila Prabhupada said there are two people equally unqualified for devotional service. One becomes a devotee, and the other does not. What makes the difference? He shot me a look and said, don't try to find some formula for causeless mercy. It's causeless. Ultimately, it's up to the mercy giver. And one time there were some devotees, book distributors, those in the library party, they were doing big service, distributing whole complete collections to professors, teachers, universities, and one got a little part of, why are we doing? We're doing so much. And Prabhupada cut in water. It's all mercy, all causeless mercy. We can become devotees, we can do some service. And sometimes we think, I'm the doer, And Prabhupada was an expert in cutting this. When he saw devotees them becoming little proud. He just ignored them totally, you know. Like they were not there, you know. So they understood the message, you know. And I have nothing to be puffed up about. Prabhupada was such a mercy giver that he never asked us to fill out any questionnaire. He never asked about our history, our background, or what good or bad we've done. There was never any such auditioning for becoming a disciple. He said, whatever you have done, that's behind you. From this point on, follow the rules and regulations. And that would be our disposition toward people in Krishna consciousness. There should be an effort to bend over backwards to anyone who's trying to serve Krishna. What to speak of people who, for one reason or another, have fallen away from the movement. As Vaishnavas, we need to see what their services has been and find a way to encourage them and bring them back to demonstrating to them the same kind of love and affection and concern that Srila Prabhupada showed us. Oh, that's a good point. Because sometimes some devotees get on our nerves, we know that. There's one, get on my nerves. But he's trying to become, or she's trying to become a devotee, trying to serve, you know. And my guru, he told me, he has to tolerate me. He told me that personally, you know. Yeah, Gaurangi, we tolerate her cakes, you know, fashion, because she gives lots of milk, you know, sweetness and service. So he had to tolerate me, you know, and so I should tolerate others' imperfections also. And Prabhupada, he was expert in encouraging that. All the devotees said that. It was one of his prominent qualities, always encouraging, always seeing the positive in somebody, you know, and forgiving, you know. Some did, you know, really create a lot of problems for the movement, and he always forgave. And one devotee, I forgot his name, but he had left the movement and you know, engaged in material activities again. And one of his disciples. But years later, he came to Prabhupada, and Prabhupada welcomed him so wonderfully, rubbed his head, you know. So it touched him so much. He could see Prabhupada just remember the good he had done, you know, the service he had done, not the nonsense. So, happily, this week is Prabhupada's disappearing day, so we're going to talk more and more about Prabhupada, wonderful qualities, achievements. Hare Krishna, Srila Prabhupada Patita Pavana Ki. Yeah, we should reflect. Where would we be without Prabhupada? If he had not come, you know? I hate to think about it. Going to the hellish planet.
Being a ghost.
Huh?
Ghost. Being a ghost. Being a ghost.
Be a ghost, yeah, be a ghost. Oh, yeah. I
Be
didn't put my
a
hand in.
ghost.
Be a ghost, go to hellish planet, reincarnate in animal body. Without Prabhupada. That gave me a lot of inspiration, thinking about Prabhupada. Where would I be without Srila Prabhupada? Where would we be? Jai Srila Prabhupada. You still filming? No.
Meeting.
Finished.